I get asked time and time again how to cook the perfect slow cook lamb shoulder, and I'm going to show you. This technique is outstanding. It's foolproof and the lamb just turns out every single time. So you'll need a 1.5 kilogram lamb shoulder. I've asked my butcher to leave the bone in because I think it stays meltingly tender if you leave the bone in. I've also left a little fat on the top. Now I've brought this out to room temperature. You don't want it to be freezing cold as it goes into the oven because it's going to take longer to cook and also it won't cook evenly. Now the first stage is to cook this in the oven at a high temperature. So I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees. This is going to almost seal it off and give it a lovely golden top. So we'll also add a little oil, not too much because there is quite a lot of fat on a lamb shoulder, and we'll just rub that all over the piece of lamb. To that I'll add a good pinch of salt. And I'm adding a good pinch because it is a big piece of meat, okay? Underneath this, I'm going to add some herbs. Now, I have a combination of rosemary, thyme, and bay leaves, all fantastic hard herbs that go nicely with lamb. So we'll just place this underneath the lamb shoulder, like a little bed. Okay, stage one done. This now goes into a hot oven. I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees and it's going to cook for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, I'll lower the temperature of the oven to 160 degrees, add some stock and cover this with some baking paper and foil and cook it for about 3 to 4 hours. Yes, you need to be patient, but cooking at that low and slow temperature, well, you'll reap the rewards. All right, this beautiful lamb shoulder is out of the oven. Have a look at it. See how gorgeous that skin is? That's because we've made an effort of putting it in the oven at a hot temperature, lowering it, and then cooking it for a long time. Now, to serve this, I'm going to serve it a very, very simple way, but still quite impressive with a mint sauce. So I've just been chiffonading some mint. Lots of mint for this. We'll sprinkle that in. I want to do this part at the last minute because if you chop your mint too early, it will start to oxidise and go brown. We want to keep that gorgeous, vibrant colour. To that, I'll add a pinch of salt and some malt vinegar, but you can use some red wine vinegar, and some capers for a pop of saltiness and also that brininess, so the vinegar that's also in there. So these ones are a little larger, so I'm just going to chop them up quite roughly and then in with our mint. And just to loosen this up, all of these lovely juices in here, just a spoonful or so, just add 1 to 2 and then give that a stir. And that right there is so fresh, so yummy with lamb. All right, now for a little creamy component to this dish, some hummus. Love hummus just as is, but it's also great with lamb, so it's a really good base. So I'll grab another spoon and I just want to spread this on my platter. So 2 or 3 generous spoonfuls and then spread that around. We go a little bed for the lamb to sit on. I'll use a fork and a spoon to carefully move this succulent lamb from the dish and straight onto the hummus. Oh, look at that. So good. And finally, this mint topping, we can just drizzle that over the top, in and around with it. That little spike of acidity there with the capers and that vinegar. It's just a really lovely touch just to cut through the fattiness of the lamb. And last little drizzle. Now that is the ultimate lamb shoulder, but really it's all about having a look at how tender this meat is. So let me just break into it here for you. Oh, look at that. Perfectly cooked lamb shoulder in the oven, low and slow. Can't beat it. But have a taste, hey? It's the best.